Hey everyone, this is George Soto and you're watching Startups Unedited. Hey everyone, this is George Soto and you're watching Startups Unedited. Today I'm joined by Matt Benati, who is CEO and co-founder at LeadGnome in Boston. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it. I have like a strong connection to Boston. I've worked with a lot of folks from the Boston area, a ton of great startups. The HubSpot for Startups program is a partner of ours at Soto Ventures. Mark Roberge over at HubSpot, who's not, I think he's left now and he's like doing lecturing. I think he did quite well in the IPO.
I'm sure he did.
And then just, done events in Cambridge, so really, really love Boston. Why don't you take a quick second to kind of introduce yourself, tell the audience a little bit about your background. You have this incredible background, starting off as an engineer and then moving into marketing and now a CEO.
Yeah, thanks. Well, first, I'm really excited to be part of the show here. I've been watching quite a few of your videos, and I'm happy to finally make it on your roster. This is great. My background did start technical. I have a engineering background, and a bachelor's and a master's. And what struck me as I was coding and was an architect for over a decade was trying to understand the real rationale about building X or Y, et cetera. And that drew me more and more to the business side. So then I started in product management, did some product marketing, led some sales engineering teams, and then started to take over marketing teams and work at a higher level across all of marketing. I really, really enjoyed it. And I've had some super experiences, started with very large companies like IBM and Kodak, some mid-sized companies like Kronos and Netezza, had some super exits, and have been in about a half a dozen startups now. And decided to start my own thing called LeadGnome. So had a lot of variety in my career, seen a lot, and I think it's brought a very good perspective, and it's balanced me out as I tackle my own thing now.
That's awesome. Well, as we were sort of prepping for the conversation today, we started to talk about customer success and the importance of it, especially within the SaaS community or SaaS technology space. And you had a really interesting perspective. You'd mentioned, some of the companies that you work for, like LogMeIn for everyone. It's a fantastic company. Check it out. Join.me is one of their products. I mean, they've been around for quite a while. And the importance that they placed on customer success. What tips would you give an early stage company about starting to leverage customer success as a philosophy, but even tactically?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say that customer success is your success. You just have to have that mindset. And it's one of the reasons that I started my own company. Not that the other companies I worked for sort of put customer success in a corner, they didn't. But I wanted to start a company where we had great technology and a great space, but really embrace the customer. And so it's one of the reasons I'm a firm believer in ABM as well. Let's find those best fit customers and make them exceedingly happy. And that's across all facets, right? It's building a rapport, it's having the right product, keeping products up to date and working well with folks. But it goes beyond that, right? We want our customers to be successful. And frankly, at the end of the day, if they're not successful, they're not going to be coming back to us. So while part of it is a true helping hand, and I can talk to you about a couple of ways that we've done that in our time frame here at LogMeIn or at LeadGnome. I think it's also, it comes back at you tenfold, right? Yeah. So it's so important. And I think companies are embracing that more and more. In fact, many of the companies here in Boston have a feeder program to their sales teams through customer success. Because
what does that actually look like for let's say small companies?
Yeah. So, customer success is on the front lines. They're getting the tough calls. Hey, this doesn't work. Or just the questions of how do I do X, Y, or Z. So not only are they super helpful internally to guide the rest of the company, but they're also interacting on a daily basis with all of your customers, right? So they understand the DNA of those customers. That makes an incredible salesperson, right? They've heard all of the challenges. They now know the objections, right? Objection handling rolls off their tongue. They understand when customers say X, Y, or Z to probe a little bit, understand the problem truly, and then work with them. And in a sales environment, you have to do the same thing. So we have many companies here. I have to give a shout out to Gail Goodman at Constant Contact, who is one of the core people who started to develop that here. She has a customer service organization, and they basically promote them into sales. LogMeIn, HubSpot, these companies are successful in part because of these feeder systems. So completely agree with that philosophy. I've seen it work multiple times, and it's something that we hold near and dear to our hearts here at LeadGnome.
Now, when do you think that a startup founder should hire a customer success person? I always think that the founder should be the first salesperson, should be the first customer success person. But when is that moment where you're like, you know what, I'm going to hire someone or a guy or gal to actually own customer success and start to develop this feedback loop that feeds, I think product roadmap, certainly sales, and the direction of the business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I agree with your first statement there, that the CEO should be that first salesperson, should be handling those calls. I also believe, and I bring on my VP of engineering as many of those calls as I can, because to get it from, if you will, the horse's mouth, your customers, is so important. I don't want to have to translate to the rest of my team. I want them to hear it. And so I will bring folks on in my organization to hear about it. Now, the inflection point changes, or I should say is different from company to company. And it depends on the number of customers, right? So your average contract value has something to do with it. Do I have 100 customers right now? Do I have 10 customers? How needy is it? How difficult is the configuration? All those things factor in. And so I'm not sure I can give a very specific answer, but the philosophy should be, when is it that that amount of work is starting to take away from the productivity of somebody like the CEO to a degree that they're not able to service their customers in the way that they want to, and the way that the customers deserve to be supported. And it's at that point that you really do need to bring folks on. You should anticipate that problem and bring them on and onboard them, have them listen to you, have those conversations as part of that onboarding. So it's a little bit before the problem happens, so you can bring those people up to speed.
Awesome.